following is a production of Watlington Shires and Pierce Productions.
Welcome to another installment of the Rick Meeks Show. We're live from the pizzeria. As always, the Rick Meeks Show is brought to you by Sabine State Bank. On tonight's show, we'll recap last Friday's game. We'll talk to Coach Meeks about what all's going on in all the other sports besides football. We'll talk to some guest coaches and some students who had big things happening last Friday. We'll discuss the pizza of the night. And we may even talk about the Texas Longhorns and Alabama Crimson Tide. You never know. And we'll end the show with a preview of our next opponent. That's all coming up here live.
So what do you get with Sabine? State Bank? Well, Steve Waters and his staff, they know you. They know you by name. And they celebrate the successes when they finance your dreams. But Sabine State Bank is also a fully modern bank with 24-hour online access to your accounts and services ranging from teller services to some of banking's more complicated things. Looking for a place to grow? It's Sabine State Bank.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Coach Rick Meeks Show. We're live here from the pizzeria. Brought to you by Sabine State Bank. Go down and say hi to Steve Waters. He will hook you up for any of your financial needs. You need a boat, you need a motorcycle, you need a new house. He can do all of that stuff. That's Steve Waters down at Sabine State Bank.
I need one of each one of those. Will you hook me up for all of it?
You sure will.
Sweet.
You got good credit? Well, he ain't going to. You got good credit. He can help you out.
Way. It don't work if it's.
Well, I don't know. You have to go see. He's got some kind of algorithm he can plug that in.
Oh, there we go.
But, of course, we're brought to you live here at the pizzeria. And, Coach, welcome to your show.
Yes, sir.
And we'll get right to it. You said that Spring Hill was gonna be a challenge, and man, we were for 3+ quarters. We were in doubt about how that one was going to turn out.
Right. You know.
Maybe you weren't, but whew, up from where we were, I mean, that was tough. I want to start off. We'll get to the specifics in a moment, but I'd sent you a text on Saturday. I just wonder how much our strength and conditioning program played a role in that victory because, at some point in our physicality, it appeared to me that our physicality was really the turning point there midway through the third quarter, I thought.
Yes, sir. I think it plays a big role in it. And that was one of the things we talked about at halftime is obviously the adjustments we needed to make, but then make them play four quarters. Do not give them anything to where they do not have to play all 4 quarters. Because I felt like we were in better shape and better condition, and so that helps with the physicality going through the second half. And so I thought we did a good job of that.
And that's not something that happens in September, October, November, December. That's stuff that happens in February.
Correct, and for some of them, it's even further back than that. Some of them you're talking 18 to 24 months worth of training and programming that builds upon each other and just the gains that they have made. So yes, you're correct. That didn't just happen August 5th, and then all of a sudden we're in good shape. These are commitments and programming for our kids that have been over the course of time that they have bought into. We give them a lot of opportunities to train, and they choose to put that time in. Because
right.
It's more than just the athletic period as well. UIL allows us to have. They still call it. It's basically COVID makeup from the shutdown, but we still get an hour every day to work strength and conditioning. Like that's all it can be. It can't be skill work, can't be sport work, but it can be weights and conditioning. And so we provide that, and our kids are doing a good job of taking advantage of that opportunity for that to be a part of our success. So I don't disagree with what you sent me. I do think it eventually took over, and it played a big role in it, and it's going to have to continue to play a role throughout the season.
Because there was, I mean, offensively, and we'll talk about that, and what a tremendous game our quarterback and wide receivers had. And also we're going to talk about, because I really thought, again, we started being able to run the ball effectively as well. But I do want to take a minute and just talk about a key moment defensively. They drive the ball down and get a big run and get down inside the red zone, inside the 10, and then and the defense just said, "Not this time, baby."
Mm-hmm.
And we stop them on a couple times, and then we have the big hit for the fumble.
Right.
Tell us about that.
You know, I mean, the thing about it defensively is we want them to snap it again.
Right.
And as long as we have an opportunity to defend another down, then we have an opportunity to turn them over or have an opportunity to stop them. You know, if they break through there and we just choose not to have great effort to try to run the guy down, to try to get him, then, you know, that's terrible mentality. And our kids are not playing that way. They understand the importance of having them snap it again. And so we did a really good job of pursuit and running the running back down. And then, like you said, we played first down great, played second down great. And then they ran a toss into their bench. We did a good job of forcing it back inside linebackers. And I think it's actually one of our clips.
Okay.
But anyway, linebackers working over the top, and then, you know, delivered a great hit, and we turned them over and prevented points right there before the half, I believe. Maybe it was third quarter.
I think it was third quarter. Because I didn't think the offense took the ball, and not quickly, for maybe the first time even not quickly, but we went 90.
That's right.
94
yes,
yards
sir.
for a touchdown.
You are correct. So anyway, that was a big turning point in the second half, and but just our mentality defensively right now has been very solid.
Yeah.
And you know, we knew going into the game with what they did offensively, they have gotten really good at it. More importantly, they are able to turn it over to the quarterback now. So the quarterback does a lot at the line of scrimmage, which is completely different than just a coach calling it from the sideline. When you can give something to the quarterback and he can do it at the line of scrimmage based off of the techniques that you're in, it's tough. And so the fact that we were able to get a couple of fourth down stops and turn them over 3 times was huge. Without that, I mean, it's a completely different ball game.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. We've had the ability, because we played this team relatively consistently, to see them grow, and you know, and it's fun to see other kids have success, as long as the ultimate success on the scoreboard is still in our favor. Right. But it's been interesting to watch watch them build that program over there.
Yes, sir. Brandon has done an awesome job. I mean, Coach Jocelyn, me and him worked together at Tatum. Phenomenal guy, and then, like you said, you can see the work that they've put in. They coach their kids, and just they do things that they can do, especially offensively. And in the way they run that offense, it's an equalizer to maybe an opponent that's very athletic, and they've just gotten really good at it.
Yeah.
Their kids have a good mindset, but more importantly, how hard their kids play, I think, speaks for their coaching staff. And you know, at some point it's going to flip for Brandon, and it'll be well deserved. And I know he kind of gets frustrated here or there because they're right there, and they're very close on a lot of things. So, you know, hats off to them and their staff and the amount of time and the work they've put in to continue to get better. You know, but on the other side of that, very proud of our kids for not giving in to when things didn't go our way early, to just kind of fold the tent, and maybe if it works out, great. If it doesn't, okay, then we'll just go play the next one. And that's what I really emphasized with them today before practice, just our mentality throughout the game. You know, we tried to tell them all week how it was going to be, and they were kind of on the fence there, because you think back 2 years ago, the game was over with in the first quarter. Last year, I mean, they did a few. They did some things offensively that hurt us, but it was never the game was never really in question. And then this year was a completely different story, and we were talking to them about that. They have a lot of guys back. They're very talented offensively. They're good at what they do. And it's hard to get teenagers to understand that. It's hard to get some adults to understand that.
Well, all I know is they're lucky that they were able to shorten the game and have some of those drives. Otherwise, TJ and Tim would have had 10 touchdowns, baby.
Well, that's kind of what I was like. I was kind of keeping up with the game. I'm over at Shelbyville. I'm kind of keeping up, and I'm getting to halftime, and I'm sitting there saying, and then after I saw the third quarter started to get a little separation score, I said, well, I know Coach had to have a deep emotional talk with him at halftime because that had to get you, you keep the motivation and the talk for the guys, So that had to be something for the guys too. Hey, we know we got to get this going at halftime. We got to do this. Made the good adjustments, and that's what really worked out. It looked like. Coach.
Well, offensively we were able to move the ball, and defensively, honestly, we didn't make any adjustment outside of a couple of our pressures that we already had in the package. We changed how we timed them up, and we were trying to do that throughout the course of the second quarter, but it just took getting into halftime and explaining a couple things to Cody and Easton for it to actually click. And so we were good. And once again, with the way they were able to do things at the line of scrimmage, we were making calls from the sideline, and we were already getting into what we wanted to do while we were showing our hand. So the quarterback just checked away from it, and we were outmanned. So we had to get them to understand that, look, once he talks to both sides of the line of scrimmage and then backs up, then show our hand. He's already made the play call. And so just that simple adjustment right there helped with a lot of things. And so, honestly, at halftime, just talking about those things and then just staying the course. And like I said earlier, make them play 4 quarters. Because we were in a situation the previous week that we go in at halftime and, hey, guys, we still have 2 quarters to go play. Mm-hmm. Like, we cannot take the foot off the gas. And we didn't play very good in the second half, special teams and offensively. So it was kind of the same mentality, but it was a little bit opposite. Hey, guys, we still got 2 more quarters that if we will go play, they cannot match our intensity and our play. So, that was really the message at halftime, and our kids did a really good job of staying the course and staying physical and keeping the right mentality for when things went wrong or when things went well, we go play the next play.
All right, very good. Let's take a quick break. We're going to hear from Pizzeria. And,
Pizzeria?
Yeah, Pizzeria.
I had the lasagna today, man. I'm telling you, the lasagna's good. If you haven't had a lasagna, you need to get the lasagna.
You need to come down and to order a pepperoni pizza, say, I want it Coach Meeks style. And they'll get it. So we're going to hear from them. When we come back, we're going to look at some clips. This is the Rick Meeks Show live here from the Pizzeria, brought to you by Sabine State Bank.
So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the Pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the Pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the Pizzeria just off the square in Center. At Hope Community Medicine, they believe that more than medicine is needed when providing quality care for their patients. With locations throughout East Texas, the vision is to give hope to those who seek a better life by caring for their body, mind, and soul, and not about their ability to pay. Through the network of staff and locations, Hope seeks to be primary provider of medical, dental, and behavioral health. Because the difference that Hope makes is the difference between night and day. Hope Community Health.
Back. All right, so folks, welcome back to Rick Meeks Show. Coach, let's turn to the clips.
All right,
and,
let's do it.
You provided us 3 clips that we have the tight shot, the wide shot, and the end zone shot. We're going to examine each one of those. And
all right.
We added this week 2 bonus Shires clips. The 2 clips that I thought that were interesting. So, and no, they're not all of Cody Atkinson.
Come on now.
But actually, one of Coach's is, I think, we're here. So we're going to look at the first one. We'll see the wide clip, and we'll come back, Coach, and let you talk about what happened. So we see here. Oh, this was early on.
This is early on. This is the first possession.
Yeah.
But a lot of the game the other night, we did a lot of things that way. If you'll go back to that clip,
yep.
TJ does a really good job of understanding box players and then space players. So number 5 down here really and truly is a box player. You can tell at the snap, once we engage the handoff to the back, he's folding in underneath to play the run. And so we do some things with our receivers to put that guy in conflict. And so if 5 were to stay down here, then he would hand it off.
Yeah. Let's go back and look at the wider clip. You can see that better. I think you can see
Yes,
where
sir.
5 is, how far off.
And so we were able to put those 2 outside backers in conflict all night. So they coming in to play the run. And now we're out here really and truly playing 2-on-2. So for us, we would rather play 2-on-2 out here in space than maybe 7-on-7 in the box. Odds are in our favor that way.
Right, and we'll have a quick look at the end zone cam, which really helps show the protection, which I thought was pretty good.
Right, and you can see better right there where, you know, if we were to hand it, I mean, because once again, they're still just blocking a run play up front. But we're able to get it out fast enough that we don't have linemen downfield.
Right, very good. So
good job by your left tackle there because you got a good rush coming in there, but he was able to make a good.
Yes, sir.
all right, so we'll go to our second clip, which I think was the onside kick, I think.
Yeah, so they play a formation there with 3 kickers. So they have the one back that's kicked all year. 44, who kicks this onside kick, has shown to kick a little bit this year. And then the other kicker, he was actually their kicker last year. So we know going into the game that all 3 had potential to kick, even though the other one had not shown anything this year as from a kicking standpoint. So number 2 was their kicker last year. So anyway, we had worked all week. They wanted to pooch it, but we also knew that they could do the surprise onside like they did here. And so this one in here, Burkaden does our front row does a really good job of not leaving early, because what they want is they want to show a kicker approaching the ball and our front line turning into their drops, and then all of a sudden they onside kick it, and we're not in position to do that. So very disciplined by our front guys right there of seeing the ball off the tee. They work a technique that we call clearing their cleats, so they might be kind of in somewhat of a little bit of a backward shuffle, like they're maybe given 1 or 2 yards, but they're not actually opening and running. They're still square to the ball coming to them. So Burkaden sees it, and he's able to plant and make a play on the ball there. I would rather him just cover it up and get down, but he did a good job of you know, catching and getting a few yards. So a really good play there of things that we emphasized during the week this week of putting that into play there on Friday night.
It's not always fun to just cover and get down because you end up with a pinky this way. I've had that happen before.
Right. You know. So here's our third clip, and this is going to be. I think this is Atkinson here coming up. He's going to make the play on here. He comes free.
All right. So. This
nice.
was one of the adjustments we made in terms of one of our pressures, and it was just as simple as moving him down and inside the backer. You can see Grant widen out right there. So now because we moved him inside, because they're fixing to throw a throwback pass to the fullback coming this way. So by moving Cody inside there, he was able to still pressure, and now Grant, because of the path the fullback has to take at this point, Grant sees him coming flat.
Oh, yeah.
So just that one little adjustment on that pressure allowed Grant to pick up the fullback and Cody to get home on the sack, which then turned into a fumble.
Right. So, I didn't even look at that part, but so Grant is just as responsible for that, because otherwise he would have flipped it out to the fullback.
That is correct. That is correct.
Right. Well, very good. So now we're going to run to the Shire School. You're going to get the end of this. I was so excited that I missed the first part of the replay. I got the important part, Larry Pierce, because it was a mauling of the Spring Hill quarter.
May have got it. No, he does finally. It bounces into his hands, but he has nowhere to go. And that'll be the biggest loss since since
the ball, and I think that was 9 of them.
Yeah. I think we got 12 of them on that one.
May have got it. No, he does finally. It bounces into his hands, but he has nowhere to go, and that'll be the biggest loss since.
So that's a great job defensively of running to the football.
Right. And finally, my favorite play of the night. This is going to we do have our quarterback T.J. Bellin has arrived, but this was a great play by him to get outside and then to recognize that this was. I don't think that's not what was called, was it? We'll see it.
No.
In the shotgun, fakes the handoff, rolls now to his left, looking downfield, squares up.
Oh, he's got him. That's going to be sick.
Has him.
Oh, what a catch!
Did he catch it?
Down, but honestly, that ball should have went out to the outside receiver right there on the back end of his drop. We had
In the shotgun, fakes the handoff, rolls now to his left, looking downfield, squares up.
Oh, he's got him.
throws
That's going to be sick.
Has it.
Oh, what a catch.
Did he catch it?
Leave it to Shires to pick one.
Sometimes the quarterback has to improvise, right, Coach?
But once again, it's a great job. It was a great job of keeping our eyes down the field. Great touch on the ball to allow Tim to make a play because, I mean, he was running across the field and then had to recourse and get vertical. So, you know, I mean, not to take anything away from TJ there in terms of the touch and the type of ball. We just made it a little more dramatic than we had to.
But, I mean, to me, the reason why I liked about it is because clearly that was not the play it was called, and their ability to be on the same page.
Correct.
And because I don't think Tim had yet made that final cut because he comes in and kind of hesitates and then
works vertical.
Works vertical. But I think TJ had already knew where he was going when he did that, and so.
Yeah, because something like that is like he's looking to come back to help out his quarterback, so he's got to find a way to get into an area where he can get his quarterback there. So good job by the receiver, and for those times working together in the off practice together,
right.
Working on those things like that. You can see that I mean, professional quarterback, they do that all the time. It's timing all the time, just like that.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks, that's our Coach Talk, and it is brought to you all year long by JBA Financial. We'll hear from JBA Financial, and then when we come back, we're going to have our center Rough Rider quarterback, TJ Bellin in here.
6 touchdown Bellin.
Oh, yeah. So we'll be right back, folks.
Is it TJ or TD? TD Bellin? Yeah, I'll get it.
JBA Financial Services brings you Coach Talk, and there's a reason for that. John Black knows that when you're preparing for an important game, you need a plan, and they'd like to be a part of the details, the X's and O's of that plan. He's put together a good team, a coaching staff that would help you and your family get where they want to go. At JBA Financial Services, they're working to secure your family's future. Sandy Cox is a good State Farm agent. Just ask Drake. He knows. State Farm agents in general are pretty cool, but Sandy Cox has the answers to your questions. Like, what's best for me, for my kids, for my business, for my farm? For all of us in Shelby County, those questions can be answered at Sandy Cox State Farm. This is McAdams Propane. And this is CEO Josh McAdams. That's him on the cover of Texas Propane Magazine as the president of the state organization. He knows a thing or two about propane. He learned from his dad and his grandfather before him. Whether your business depends on propane or just your outdoor kitchen, McAdams puts the needs and the safety of their customers in first. It's McAdams Propane.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Coach Rick Meeks Show. Again, we're live here from the Pizzeria and the Rick Meeks Show, as it is every week, brought to you by Sabine State Bank. Go by and see Steve Waters for all your financial needs right there, right in front of Brooks Brothers. So now joining us, we have our Center Motor Company player of the game. I don't know if I was talking to his mama. He didn't even know it. But it's our Center Motor Company player of the game in week one. When Chris Wallington was trying to line you up to interview you, but we couldn't find you. So, and then Friday night was a monster game, just a monster game. And so, TJ, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Let's first talk about how's it been being the quarterback this year.
Fun.
Yeah, move this a little bit closer to your mouth. There we go. There we go.
It's been pretty fun so far.
Yeah. So, a lot of times, you were one of our star wide receivers last year.
Mm-hmm.
How much does it help? Did it help to play wide receiver while you were waiting to come in and play quarterback?
Just kind of knowing where to go with the ball, because I was in that same position last year, so that helps a lot.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And then, I know you play where you're needed to be played, and if coach told you to go play defensive end, you would do it. But do you like quarterback more than or wide receiver more?
That's pretty close. I don't know now. Probably. I say receiver because it's something I ain't really played a lot, and I kind of enjoyed it last year.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he keeps asking us to put him back out there.
Oh yeah, play slash. Maybe we can put you out there every now and then, run some. I bet coach can design a play or put you in motion out there and see what happens.
Yes, sir.
But so tell us, TJ, what are your plans after you graduate from Center High School?
Definitely go to college and play football or baseball somewhere.
Okay, and where are you gonna? What are you gonna study?
Sports management.
Oh, okay, sports management.
Yes, sir.
Very good. And, of course, I mean, you've been a star on a baseball team. We'll be talking to you later in the year about that. But we're looking forward to the baseball season because we think, we've kind of put in some work in that and kind of paid our dues, and now it's going to be time this next year to reap some of the rewards of the hard work.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's talk about the game Friday night. Okay. Coach talked about a little bit about how you were making some reads and finding Tim. Tell us about that. Let's begin on the first. The first series. We're in 3rd and long. You complete the pass to him. We saw that was one of our clips. And then I think on the next play you hit him again, and then he took it to the house.
Yes, sir.
So tell us about those.
Just giving T-Baby the ball in space and just let him do his thing. That's all it is. Yes, sir.
Yeah, but how do you decide when and where to throw it to him?
If I see a lot of grass and T-Baby open, just give it to him right now.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, we also looked at that play, the one where you roll out, and Coach said you missed who you're supposed to throw to.
I did.
But it turns out you end up. How did that go? I mean, how did you decide that you were gonna go to Tim on that play?
In the moment, I realized I was too late to throw the ball, so I just rolled out, see T-Baby throw his hand up, and just gave it to him, let him make a play on it.
Okay, very good. So, I mean, in this particular year, I mean, you're coming in and you're inheriting a team that we've lost some really important leaders off that team. And I mean, are you one of the big leaders?
Yes, sir, definitely.
And what did you learn from those guys, from Cash and Evans and all those other guys?
Just making sure everybody just focused and bought into the process. Everybody, doing everything they're supposed to on and off the field.
Oh, very good. Well, we're going to talk to Coach about this here in a minute. But one last thing I want to talk about is we have a tough matchup coming up this next week against a team that we've played 2 times, and both of them were extremely exciting ball games and a lot of explosive plays on each side. What do you expect from them defensively?
I know they're going to be sound, and they're going to be in the right spot. Just make the right reads and play ball.
Very good. One other question. So, I mean, I'll tell you this. The one thing, I've kind of watched you grow up. I've known your mom and dad since went to high school with your dad.
Yes, sir.
I knew you were a very smart player, but I've been very surprised at how strong your arm is, especially on those slant routes you're throwing. Tell us about that when you see that. Do you just do you look at that and go, oh yeah, this will fix the strike up the fight song.
Yes, sir. The baseball side comes out. Just
Yeah.
throw the ball hard and get it to him.
So it's very good. All right, well, TJ, thank you for joining us this evening. Like I said, we wanted to talk to you after game 1, and so that's why I asked Coach to have you down here because we really enjoyed what you've done so far, and we look forward to a great season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, that's TJ Bell, and the starting quarterback for the Center Rough Riders / wants to go back to wide receiver at some point when he can. So we'll hear from a couple folks, and we'll be back, and we're going to talk about other sports and what's going on. This is the Rick Meeks Show live from Pizzeria.
Covington Lumber and Building Supplies is in the capable hand of a 3rd generation of Covingtons. For shingles for your roof, to carpet for your floors, to Farrell Calhoun paint for the walls, bathroom fixtures, and everything in between, Covington's has it, as well as all the lumber you can shake a stick at. Lumber for your home or for other fun projects. You find it all at Covington's.
Sparky D's Bargain Store. Who are we? We're an online auction store on Facebook. Find our page on Facebook. There you'll find a post for our weekly auction. If you find an item you like, place your bid and you could be a big winner and save yourself lots of money. We're on Facebook only for our weekly auctions. We're located in Center, Texas. Check us out on Facebook. It's Sparky D's Bargain Store, where we will save you more.
Steve Tinkle at Center Tire Company knows time is money, and that's why when you pull into Center Tire Company, it's like a NASCAR pit stop. You tell them what you want, and they're on it fast. Whether you need a set of new tires for your car or truck, a flat fix, or just a tire rotation, you won't have to wait long at Center Tire Company. Name brand tires you know, hometown folks you trust. If it has tires, either they've got it or they can get it at Center Tire Company, 880 Hurst Street in Center.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Rick Meeks Show. Coach, it's time where we talk about what's going on in the athletic program in general.
What I want to know is when we're going to get to go to the activity center.
Me too.
Hey, he's the football coach. He ain't the architect.
I'm telling you, man.
He's the boss man over there. He's the one I go to to ask questions.
It's coming along.
It's getting there.
It's coming along.
I wanted to go over there and just say, hey, can I look inside? They won't even let me do that.
I know. I walked down there the other day, and I had to leave, so I had to get up with our maintenance guy to get me back in there. So,
yeah.
but it's coming along nice. It's really nice on the inside.
I'm hoping we get to do some volleyball there before the end of the season.
I think so. I think by October 1st we should be good to go.
Sweet.
I'm looking forward to the very spacious, very fancy, luxurious broadcasting booth that's going to exist in there.
Mm-hmm.
Is this wishful thinking?
No, I slipped some funds to the architect to make a little spot there.
You got a little extra material left over?
Yeah.
Can you put this in right there?
Yeah.
There you go.
Right.
All right, so, Coach, let's talk about, speaking of these things, of course, Larry Pearson does volleyball. He was saying earlier in the Piney Woods Coaches Show that he can't wait to cover center, but they've been going way off. But at some point they're going to be back in district and all that, and he's looking forward to covering some more ladies volleyball.
Spike's got the girls rocking, don't they?
They are. They played well in the. They went down to Beaumont this past weekend. Played in a tournament down there. Combinations of 4As, 5As, and 6As, maybe a few 3As. But we played well. I mean, I think we went 2-2 on the weekend. Once again, still playing with a very young squad that's showing a ton of improvement. And so I feel good about where we're at once district rolls around, which is relatively close. I think
next week or two.
I think within the week.
Mm-hmm.
So very, very excited about with where we're at there. Coach Spikes has done a great job. Girls are learning and taking the adversity that they've seen so far and turning that into a positive approach. So
that's good.
Big game tomorrow night against New Diana, and then I feel like we roll into district from there. So
I think you're right.
So anyway, we're in a good spot there. Tennis is rocking and rolling. I know they had two tough matches this past weekend with Spring Hill and Billard, I believe, or maybe Spring Hill and Lindale.
Ooh.
And so two really good 4A programs, and so we're still playing well there. I think we split with them. I think we lost to Spring Hill, but then beat Lindale, or vice versa. But really good competition. Our district is not real strong, so Coach Dykes does a really good job of scheduling out of district to make sure we're ready for the playoffs. And so team tennis is rocking and rolling. Cross country is as well. We won the Broadus meet this past week, and we go to Broadus this Wednesday. We won the Pineland meet this past Wednesday, and then like I said last week, we ran really well at the Tyler Legacy cross country meet that's 2 Saturdays ago. So. Our boys are running well, and our girls are competing, and I think we've done a good job of meddling with our 3 girls. I mean, we don't have 7, so team-wise, but I think we've got a couple girls that have an opportunity to get out of district and get to regionals.
Nice. There you go.
Oh, very good.
That'll make Waterton happy.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, well, folks, that's our update on what's going on in school-wide and all these sports. It's always good. I mean, we want. One of the things I know it's important to you, Coach. It was important when I was on the school board that we have a well-rounded program
Correct.
Where everybody has an opportunity. Like I always try to tell her, we should get all of our students do 1 or 2 things.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody do something to
Right.
make compete, and and to advance the Center Rough Riders, and so a lot of that comes in. Of course, a lot of the cross country guys are soccer players
Right.
too. You see,
Right. Yes,
see
sir.
that. So,
Is Coach G, is he the cross country coach?
Yes.
Okay, there
Yeah.
you go. There you
oh yeah, like I said, they do more in the morning before the Army does.
go. Oh, I believe it. I believe it. I'll see them cross country runners running through
Yep.
town. I know. Yeah.
All right, folks, our sponsor of the week is Hope Medical. We're going to hear from them, and we also want to thank Mooney's Emporium. Everybody knows how much I love Mooney's Emporium. And did you know that Joe's Car Wash is now owned by our own Reed Grant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that.
Wally keeps putting Joe's Car Wash. It's Joe's Car Spa.
Yeah, Joe's
You
Car
go
Spa.
get your car, take it and get it some spa treatment. We're going to hear from Pizzeria. We're going to hear from Hope
I'll take my
Medical.
car.
Yeah. And we'll be right back as the Rick Meeks Show continues on here live on NetSN.
So many things get started at Pizzeria. You start your party off with a pizza from the pizzeria. You get your celebration started. You get your season started. For a lot of us, our passion with pizza started at the Pizzeria, a tradition since 1960s. It's the Pizzeria just off the square in Center.
Hey, y'all got a dirty truck.
Well, then take it to Joe's Car Spa for a spa day.
At Joe's, they make 'em shine.
And they're standing by to work with the community.
They was elected best of Shelby County this year, and it's called Joe's, but it probably ought to be called Reed since Reed Grant owns it.
So, Billy Don, when it's time for your car or truck to have a spa day, where do you take it?
I don't know where.
At Hope Community Medicine, they believe that more than medicine is needed when providing quality care for their patients. With locations throughout East Texas, the vision is to give hope to those who seek a better life by caring for their body, mind, and soul, and not about their ability to pay. Through the network of staff and locations, Hope seeks to be primary provider of medical, dental, and behavioral health. Because the difference that Hope makes is the difference between night and day. Hope Community Health.
All right, folks, welcome back. We're gonna do what's on our mind this week. We were talking about fantasy football. I'll talk about how much it ruins. It ruined me. It ruined football. It took me.
No,
I had to go to like a 12-step program to get out from it.
I'm with you because, I mean, there's been seasons where I have 8, 9 fantasy teams, and I'm like, dude, guys are asking me. I'm like, guys, really, I'm only going to do 2 or 3. And this year I've got like 3, I think, and that's it. 2 baseball teams and 3 football. And I didn't even want to do 3. That's still too many to keep up with. But, yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And then you do the NBA, the WNBA, baseball, NASCAR, all that.
What it'd be like, right? It'd be like, you have a certain Cleveland wide receiver on your roster. You want him to score 5 touchdowns, but you want the Cowboys to win 42-35, right? I mean, it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's just too much. I just can't. I can't handle it.
Too much pressure, man.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because what do you do?
DraftKings, it's a lot better that way. You don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, but what do you do? What do you do if you're down by a touchdown, and the Cowboys are up by 6, and they throw a touchdown to your guy? Cowboys lose, but you win.
As long as it's not the championship round, the Cowboys need to win. Then, if that's your team, I would still pull for the Texans if they needed.
Well, there's the same thing could be for the Texans.
Yeah, I still would like to see, but I'd rather see the Texans win than my fantasy team win.
Yeah, but
unless it's the championship, then I might. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See, that is what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
And then you go look at this. You go, well, so and so. You start thinking about, well, so and so. He a good player. He don't score any fantasy points. Yeah, but he gets 5 pancakes every game that are tied in. I mean, it's just it has ruined football for me. That's why I retired. I'm a multi-champion owner in various leagues, but I just said I'm done with it. But it took 2 years to get it out of my system.
I believe it.
I don't know. Do you even have time for that stuff, Coach?
I don't. I have one team with my 3 boys, so
yeah.
it's us 4 in a league. So that's some serious, that's some serious trash talking. Nothing like me trash talking my 8-year-old son, but
well, they got to learn.
They got to learn.
Like
it's
3 years ago. 3 years
thick
ago,
skin, no hard feelings.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Me and me and 8 other of my football brethren, and then we let my sister in. She whipped our butt, took the championship. That almost got me out of it there.
Yeah.
You know?
I will say one thing, though. I mean, you see Aaron Glenn. He's a defensive coordinator. I saw him on TV yesterday. I will always love – he's an Aggie of all things. But I always love Aaron Glenn because I was down in a playoff game, and he had 2 pick sixes in a game and put me over the top to head me to the championship. So I'm always Aaron Glenn,
Aaron
baby.
Glenn, there you go.
All right, let's move on to something more important, and let's talk about these North DeSoto Griffins coming up.
Griffins.
Where we talk about
That's
what
a
in
hard
the
game
world
to
is a
win in.
Griffin, but we know what a Griffin is. It's a good football team is what it is.
They
Good
are
again
that.
this year, huh?
What's that?
They're good again this year, aren't they?
It appears they're
Perennial,
going to
yeah,
be. I think they only played. They played one. They only played one.
They're 1
game.
week behind us.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Coach, we know that they, if there was any team that had had as fast or faster paced offense than us, it was those guys.
That's right.
I'm assuming we're going to see that again.
We will. We will. Coach Dunn, we do a lot of things very similar offensively. As a matter of fact, me and him have a pretty good relationship and have had many conversations about offense in the past. And so now it just happens that we've played each other the last few years. So our personalities offensively are pretty much identical. They run this close to the same schemes as us. They have the same passing game we have, a lot of the same RPOs. They do a couple things in the run game a little different. They're more gap-oriented than us. We're more zone-oriented. But their philosophy offensively is identical. They're going to play fast. They want wide splits with the receivers. And they're going to keep it as simple as they can so they can play fast and execute the offense that they have. So, it's going to resemble each other quite often, and I think you guys have noticed that the last couple of years as well. So defensively, we're a little bit different. I mean, they're still a three-man front like us, but they play a few things on the back end different than maybe our guys do. But it's two teams that do a lot of the same things. I'll say the last 2 years, the biggest difference really came down into special teams. 2 years ago in 2022, they ran the opening kickoff pack, blocked a punt in the first quarter and scooped and scored it, recovered an offensive fumble in the end zone for a defensive touchdown, and we had another offensive fumble that they scooped and ran it down to about the 5 and then scored a play later. And we lose 70-42. Well, there's 28 points right there.
It's hard to win, Coach, when you spot them 35.
It's very hard to win, and last year they kickoff return, we fumbled it. They picked it up and ran it in. We had a shanked punt that gave them a short field on the 20, and then we had another kickoff that they ran back to our 30. So once again, special teams. The last 2 years they've beat us in that phase, and has been a big reason in the things that have happened.
My impression from last year, Coach, was that we came out and we really just hung it to them. But there was a point in the somewhere in the third quarter where it was like we let the foot off the gas and we let them back in it. That's my memory of the game, and I wonder if you've talked to the team about that, how important that is.
We did. I mean, they scored first last year. And then they kicked off to us, and we had the gift. We're running, and the ball just comes out of our hands. And they jumped out on us 14-0. But then we settled in and worked our way back and took the lead into halftime. And the punt I was just talking about happened on our second possession of the third quarter. Right. So we come out third quarter, and we kind of put a little drive together and actually scored, and it got called back.
That's right.
And then so we ended up having to punt, and then they went 3 and out and punted it back to us and got us back inside about the 20. And we didn't produce much offense right there. Well, they came after the punt, and we got it off, but we shanked it. And so they ended up getting the ball on about the 30. But, they had 13 possessions last year, and possession 5 to 10. They didn't do anything with those possessions. But then 11, 12, 13, they scored 21 points on those 3 possessions, and that put them back over the top. Actually 22 points because they ran a fake extra point for 2. And so one thing that we have talked about is finding a way, even though we are tempo, we got to find a way to shorten the game just a little bit. Because 13 and 14 and 15 possessions is hard. Even as good as our defense has been playing, it's hard for them to defend. I mean, you think even defend 15 possessions and only let them score, 1/3 of the time, they're still going to be sitting on 35 points.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so we've got to find a way to shorten the game, which kind of goes against our philosophy just a little bit. But I think we have a few ways that we can do that. Because when both teams are up tempo, you're looking at defending just a ton of possessions, and that's even if we were very veteran offensively, that's still not a good recipe for success.
So, I mean, I know, Coach, you guys like to go up tempo too, but, I mean, just to slow down just a little bit. I mean, just maybe even just take a little time off the play clock, maybe, you know, taking your time coming out of the huddle or just taking a few extra time there. I mean, that could be a way to kind of help slow things down just a little bit.
Absolutely.
For your offense. Plus make sure you're in the right spot too.
Right. And that was one thing in the offseason and through the summer that I talked with both coordinators about to good lengths. That was something that we needed because, you know, at some point, it's like the other night. Once we were up, like they can only possess it so many more times if we're smart about our possessions. And so even if they scored touchdowns on the couple times they possess, they still can't catch us. Now, that's not what we would have wanted, but still we can be smart enough about it that they can't touch it enough times to catch us. So – we did that the other night. You know, our last 2 possessions, which we scored on, but one was 8 plays and the other one was 10 plays. So we actually put longer possessions together, sat there, let the play clock run down to 15 before we signaled anything in. So by the time we all got set, we're snapping it at 3, 4, 5 seconds, and we're running time off the clock. And so that was good for us to be able to do that because years past we would do it, but we still weren't executing. And so for us to be able to do that, because it takes you out of rhythm a little bit. Our kids are used to getting to the line of scrimmage and snapping it and let's go. So that changes the rhythm a little bit, and then we were still able to execute everything that was called. And so that was a very, very positive thing for us the other night toward the end of the game to be able to do that. So those are things that we're going to have to build on and be able to do that moving forward, whether it's this week or week 8. I mean, it doesn't matter. We're going to have to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, that brings up 2 things I want to talk about. One, I want to circle back and talk about the running game. But the other thing is a question I've been meaning to ask you. You ever thought, I mean, have you ever considered and then decided, well, we're not going to do that because it's – but, you know, when we get in those situations, actually about putting the team in a huddle and having them in a huddle and then come out at a certain point? Or is that just too far from
No, not at all. You know, and really and truly when we practice this in the week against our defense, this is a time that we practice that. Because, you know, one thing, if we stand at the line of scrimmage and we make our calls or we signal in and then we make our calls, our defense knows what we're doing. So it ends up being counterproductive because they don't run what Coach Huff calls correctly defensively because they already know what we're doing. So they just run to where the ball's going, and it looks like they made a great play.
Right,
and really and truly, they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So one way that we counteract that is we will huddle the offense. We will signal the play in, and then we sprint to the line of scrimmage and snap it like it was tempo.
Right.
So one thing we can do there, you know, and in which, once again, we work it, is we keep them in the huddle until a certain time on the play clock, and then we can break the huddle and go run the play, and it was like we were playing fast the whole time. So it doesn't take them out of used to, like, get to the line of scrimmage, let's get it snapped, let's go. Though we kind of accomplished both things. So definitely something that we have worked on this year to go with, you know, like I said, things we talked about in the offseason and in the summer.
Right, very good. Yeah. And to circle back, we did at those those points in the game where we had the big long drives, we were starting to get, or we're seeing improvement in the running game, which is, you know, like we've talked about, the young running back knowing where to go and setting up the blocks, but also maybe because we do have a number of new players on the offensive line,
right,
maybe starting to watch that thing kind of gel together.
Correct. You know, we simplified from week 1 to week 2. We took a few things out that just have not been clicking. Honestly, the other night we went into the game with one scheme. We ran one scheme, and you know we executed a lot of things a lot better. So between that and Bluford having one game under his belt and kind of understanding the speed of the game and starting to run a little bit harder, I still think he's got some more there.
Absolutely.
And I think he would say the same thing. He's just, you know, he doesn't feel comfortable just yet. So, but there were times the other night. There's one thing you can't say, and you can't say he doesn't run hard. Now he maybe misses a lane here or there, and that's going to come just through reps and getting used to playing on Friday nights. But he runs north and south very hard, which is very encouraging to me. And then you can tell it's helped his confidence once he busted through there the other night and actually got in the end zone.
That's right. And Larry Pierce, there was one play where it's about running hard. The Panther safety knew he ran hard because
Yes, he did.
one time he trucked his trucked
Yes,
him.
he
That's
did.
what I'm talking about right there.
Yes,
But
he
that
did.
was a great run.
Right there.
But no, we played with 5 linemen Friday night, all underclassmen. We didn't play with one senior in the offensive line Friday. Now we'll be back with Keaton this week. But the fact that we made the strides we made from week 1 to week 2 with that young of an offensive lineman, you're talking 2 sophomores and a freshman and 2 juniors is what played. Actually 3 sophomores, a junior, and a freshman is what played for us Friday night. So you're talking about four kids that were – one was playing 8th grade ball last year and the other 3 were playing freshman ball. So it takes a little time for them to get the speed of the game and understand. And, I mean, it's a whole different world on Friday night. And so patience is tough. I know we've talked about it on here many times. Patience is very hard for kids, much less adults.
Yep.
So it's just going to take a little bit of time, but I think we saw really good improvement. And
Absolutely.
TJ being able to get the ball into space is just going to continue to help our run game.
Absolutely. I want to come back one last point on the North DeSoto. I mean, that's a valuable relationship you have with that coach, and to be able to play that team, to have a team that's approximately our size, that is that good, that is
Right.
so close to us in relative travel terms.
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's just talk about that. I mean, I'm assuming this is something that we want to continue as long as it's feasible.
Absolutely. And, what happened 3 years ago, used to be Louisiana realigned on odd years and UIL realigned on even years. Well, when we had everything that went on with COVID, they pushed their realignment a year. So then it ended up matching up with the state of Texas. And I think for the longest they were opposite because I'm just assuming here, but I really feel like the states don't necessarily care for having a ton of cross-border games. But for us in our situation, all the schools around us are 2As and 3As. So the 4As that are by us are in our district.
Right.
And you're still talking about anywhere from an hour to a 2-hour bus ride, and those are schools in our district.
Yeah.
So the fact that North DeSoto is only about 35 minutes across the border, and a school our size and one that is very competitive, it's the closest thing to I'm telling you, the last 2 years has been the closest thing to a playoff atmosphere.
Absolutely.
Than you can get, and it has been great. So anyway, reaching out to Coach Dunn and talking to him about that, and we kind of went back and forth for a few weeks because of us knowing each other and knowing that when we go play each other, we're doing the same things. But at the end of the day, it's been a really good thing for both of us. And I was a little more hesitant this year, but he reached out to me and was like, hey, I want to continue to do this. And I'm like, I think it's great. So I would like to continue to do it. And I think it's a really good game for us non-district as we get ready for the challenges we have in district. This is about as good as you can get.
I agree.
Well, there's one thing. Yeah, I mean, great game, and you can't beat that good competition like that, especially early in the season like that too, Coach. But the one thing that I wanted to ask you before we go, I know we got still getting ready to wrap up stuff here, but the addition of the video stuff on the field, how much has that helped you guys? I've been wanting to ask you, coaches. I haven't had a chance. How much has that helped you guys this year? It has to be a great, valuable tool.
Huge tool. Now it's not on the field. We can have it in the booth, and then we can have it in the locker room at halftime.
Okay.
Can't have anything on the field. So that's the one part. That's the one piece of the rule that UIL didn't adopt from NCAA, because NCAA can have it in the booth, on the sideline, and in the locker room. But we can't have it on the sideline. We can only have it in the coach's booth and then in the locker room. But it's a huge addition. Just the simple fact that even in game, when we finish a possession, I can talk to Coach Horton up in the box, and we can talk through different plays, and he can go back and pull that clip up individually with the software we use. Watch. We can make notes, answer questions, jot down what we want for the next possession, and move on, and then vice versa. The defense finishes, and then I'm able to get on their channel and talk with them, or their, Coach Huffstetler's able to talk to Coach Irvin up in the booth. I mean, it's a huge addition. And then to be able to go in at halftime, and we have it hooked up to our TVs, and we got our different units, and we're able to show them right then and there the different things that we're talking about and the corrections we need to make. I mean, it is a very, very valuable addition.
Absolutely.
I'm so glad they let to do it, because I mean that I just know this helps every team immensely whenever
Right.
they do that.
And I think if kind of the trial run with the NCAA goes the way they want, eventually when they go to fully adopting it, we'll probably be able to have the access to the sideline.
Right.
I think the helmet communication is probably not far off either, because that's something that they have right now, which we're currently doing it in baseball. UIL adopted that for high school baseball last year, where you could talk to the catcher.
Right.
So you didn't have to worry about signals. You could just tell him what you wanted him to do. So if all of these things go well with the NCAA this year, then I feel like UIL will start implementing them pretty soon for us. But but I think those are all great additions and great changes.
Right. Yeah, it helps out everywhere.
Right.
That's right. All right, folks, we're going to take our last break. When we come back, we'll have something to smile about, and we'll wrap up the Rick Meeks Show here in week number 2. Again, this is the Rick Meeks Show brought to you by Sabine State Bank, live here from the pizzeria.
Portacool with Overphone. Portacool. Peak cooling. Intelligent control.
Gaddy's Medical Supply. It's your one-stop shop for the supplies and the equipment that you need as you go along your recovery. Their compassionate and knowledgeable staff is there to help you as you get better. Gaddy's Medical Supply. So what do you get with Sabine State Bank? Well, Steve Waters and his staff, they know you. They know you by name, and they celebrate the successes when they finance your dreams. But Sabine State Bank is also a fully modern bank with 24-hour online access to your accounts and services ranging from teller services to some of banking's more complicated things. Looking for a place to grow? It's Sabine State Bank.
Everybody, welcome back. It's time for Wyndham's Family Dental, something to smile about. Coach, what's the smile about this week?
Man, I want to give a shout-out to 3 guys that help us every day, Caleb Handy, Jaden Voigt, and Isaac Vasquez. 3 guys that have been a part of athletics and in and out of football, but just want to be a part of something. And so they come to practice every day, help us with video, help get things loaded, help us on Friday nights, and I just want to give them a big shout out, because their help is invaluable, and the fact that they still want to be a part of something even though they actually don't put the pads on and be out there with the other guys and their teammates. So I think that's pretty cool. It says a lot for them as a person. It's you don't see a lot of that with our teens now. Like, that's very unselfish actions by them every day to come offer a service that benefits our coaches and our players.
Right.
So we can continue to grow. So anyway, I wanted to throw them out there and just I appreciate everything they do every day.
Right. I believe Caleb Handy was our first neutral zone.
Yes, sir.
We talked to.
Yes, sir.
But it's great. Those guys, do the trainers. They do a lot of stuff.
Yes, sir.
What about you, Larry Pierce?
Well, let's see. Something to smile about. Well, I'll tell you, just enjoying the beautiful football weather.
No kidding.
Happy
nice this morning.
It was beautiful, and happy that it's football season. Happy that school's back in. The things are going good. Big smile on my face about that. And also, in case you didn't know, folks, here we are hooked up with Happy Tales Adoption Center, and that is the animal shelter of Shelby County. And one of the animals we put out there got adopted. So I'm not saying it was because of us, but it's good to see. So help out whenever you can. It's good to see that a lot of people are getting behind that. So that makes me smile right there, that awesome. A lot of good things are being taken care of, man. It makes me smile.
Larry Pierce, you stole my thunder. I was going to something I'll smile about is that one of the Happy Tales guests was able to leave and go home, go to a home. So
I'm sure there'll be plenty more of them out there. Right. So let's keep it up there, folks.
All right, folks, that's our Rick Meeks Show. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to The Forge. Thanks to JBI Insurance. Thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to our sponsor tonight, which was Hope Medical that we heard from. And always thanks to the Pizzeria for making the pizzas. Remember to come by here and say, I want a pepperoni pizza, Coach Meeks style. And thanks to Sabine State Bank. And, folks, we'll see y'all. Larry Pierce, where are you going to be tomorrow.
Going to Timpson for volleyball tomorrow, and then San Augustine for football Friday night.
All right. Of course, we will be live from the ranch. As the North DeSoto Griffins, the mythological creatures, come to town for round 3 with the Center Rough Riders. Look forward to that. Thank you, Coach, for joining us as always.
Thank y'all.
And we'll see y'all on Friday night.
The proceeding was a presentation of Watlington, Shires, and Pierce Productions. We hope you have an awesome and blessed night. God bless America, God bless our troops, and God bless each and every one of you.